Hey guys, Sushikage here, and today we're going to be revisiting Mermails. And we're doing it as well on top of this. It's my beautiful new Medolce custom mat, which I had printed, and it has just arrived from China yesterday. So a lot of people have asked me recently about Mermails and about how they fare in the current meta, and ways to get around things like Shadows and Burning Abyss. Yet those decks are a massive problem, especially Winder. Well, Winder's a problem for nearly everything, but Mermails get hurt by her a lot because they do rely on special summoning a lot more than some other decks. So I've put in a few main decked options to get around it. You can of course wait for siding in between games to try and fit an answer in there, but that's not a great way to do it, because if you rely on purely siding to get around those kind of decks, especially when they're so present in the current meta and there's so many of them floating around, then you're just giving away that game one, and you can't afford to do that. It's just not an option. So we'll look through my deck and go through some of the options as to how they get around it and as to why I've gone for them. So we've got the standard, as you can see already, one lead, still a big beta, still relevant. We've got the Megalo, we've got the Triple Teus, of course, and we've got the Tidal. I've gone for two Lins still. I still feel you only need two. I've tested a lot and I find I rarely ever need a third. So yeah, much stronger option still, and we are very tight on space. We've got three Pikes and one Gund. That speaks for itself, we all know why it's there. And we've got three Undyne. I have made the Mermail engine in this deck smaller, and I know I don't like this ratio much, but because of a smaller engine we need to be a lot more aggressive for plays, so I've put three in there to help with that. We've then got two controllers, of course you only need two, three's way too many, it clogs too much. We've got the one Dragoons, and then two Marksmen and two Infantry. I'll go on to why I've done 2 and 2 in a little while. We then have the one Allure, Book of Moon, and we've got two Soul Charge, of course, very powerful card, and Lance. Lance I feel is a very important option in this deck now. A lot of decks out there have a lot of good back row options to things you will play, especially Burning Abyss. So Burning Abyss tend to main Karma Cut, they main Revogeki Break, and they main Phoenix Wing. And when this deck is a slower deck which relies on careful, calculated plays to do well, then you need to protect those plays, especially things like your Tidal. If your Tidal gets hit with Karma Cut, that is just brutal. There's not a lot of ways you can really come back from that because it hurts your deck so much. So you really need CVs to protect it. Now, a lot of people often run Trap Stun, they'll run Raw Decrees, they'll run things like Wiretap to try and stop that, but you need to be aggressively playing a lot of this deck, and you can't be waiting a turn by setting that card and hoping it doesn't get MST'd just to secure your play to get through it, or even hit by something like Shadow Dragon. That will just hurt. So you need to make sure you can go off as and when you need to, and I feel this is a better option because you can actively draw into it in your turn without having to set it and wait. So I do feel this is the strongest option for that. So we'll pop these here, and it also can help you beat over stuff if need be, but I like to just hold it to protect my larger plays. We then have two MSTs. Yeah, again, all the top decks right now you'll see are running double or triple emptiness, which is a massive problem for us, so we need to make sure we got a way out of that. So yeah, again, I hold these in hand as an answer for that. We then have the Compulse, probably the best one of them in this format in my opinion, other than Book of Moon. We've got Triple Emptiness, which as I said is a great card right now. It stops a lot of things. It stops Shadows, it stops Burning Abyss, it slows down their decks and makes it easier for you to just rip them apart, so it's a great card. Also, this at 3, I don't really feel you need to play things like Sun and Morning, so it means that it's effectively preventing me from having to burn that 2,000 life points. I know Solemn's a great card, but I do feel this is a bit more viable right now, and the deck is very tight on space, so Solemn is cut from this lineup. We then got Breakthrough Skill. So 3 of that, really relevant right now. You want to be negating things, you want to be stopping plays from happening, so you can stop things like tour guides with this, you can get through the windows with this. It's just a super relevant card right now. So it adds with these to really make that kind of like slowdown engine or negation engine. Finally, we just have the 3 spheres. It's Mermails, of course, you need these. Yeah, speaks for itself. So that's a 40 card deck. Now, I said I'd mention these later. I used to play, of course, 3 and 1. I have found that with the triple breakthrough now, these are a bit more relevant because you can break through, for example, your opponent's window during a return, and or even in their turn if need be. And then once you've negated it, you can do stuff. I often do things like, for example, flipping the sphere. After doing that, I will bring out the Lind, then in the end I'll bring out Pike, search off it, dropping an infantry, popping the window, which has been breakthrough so it doesn't get the effects. It's just really nice, but you can also do a similar thing in your own turn, so it has been a really good out to it. Mixing these two together makes this much more stronger. Yeah, so it's a fairly strong build against those. And then of course you can side in extra hate in between based on what you're going for. There are people I know out there which do still feel you need 3 Lind. For those people, I would recommend probably cutting, I'd say, one of the Undines for a Lind. I wouldn't personally do it, but it's the way I'd probably recommend you go if you did want to do that, or if you feel you have to do that. So let me scoop all this out of the way and we'll go on to the extra deck. So in my extra, it's very standardised. Let me just grab it quickly and we'll take a quick look. So we have got the 1 Alucard, we know it's good. We've got the Engineer, we've got the Trite, of course, to go with the Pumic Shark, which is still one of my favourite cards. We've got the Exciton, if we know where we have that, it's just such a good card. We've got 2 Castells. I do not run Honor Arc in here. I feel Castell is a better option. If anyone's actually seen the Hoban deck profile as well, he does point this out too. It's something I've been thinking about for a while, but he's just kind of reconfirmed my thoughts there. So yeah, I feel this is a lot better because it can get over things in defence, it can get over things which aren't actually monsters, so I do feel it's a safer bet to go with, and I find once I use one, I often do find myself wanting a second at times, so yeah, super good card. We've got 1 Emerald. If I need to, it lets me recycle the Linds, it also lets me recycle the controllers as well, so I can remake those Undyne plays, seeing as I've got 3 of them. I then have the Dweller, we all know why that's there. We have the Lavara Chain to help get Title to Grave if need be, if I don't get one of those Undines. We've got the Dracosac, Gaios, love this card so much, Big Eye, and then finally we've got Black Rose and Leo. Both great cards to play with, really nice when played with that controller, and I often love bringing a Leo out, waiting for opponent to finally get over it, and then I just bring it straight back from the graveyard with that Soul Charge. And also if you say, for example, Soul Charge back for Leo, and a couple of 3s, you can make a Leo and an Engineer, so he'll just really, really help. Because, I mean, of course, can't be targeted by opponents, but can be by you. So you can protect him with Engineer to stop things beating over him and destroying him. It also means if your opponent gets something out on a field like a Construct, you can effectively protect Leo from the Construct with Engineer, and then in your next turn you can bring him back around. You can then use a breakthrough skill on your grave or whatever, and then you can just beat through that Construct. So it's a good out to that as well. Yeah, I don't have a side available to go through. I haven't pieced it together yet, but I do have a good idea of what we can work with. You do want to have the max season there, because some decks really do warrant it. I did want to have max season in my main, but it was just way too tight on space, and by the fact you've got a lot of negation to slow your opponents down, I feel it was less relevant in the main because of those vanities, because of those breakthroughs. One card I do feel is very important though is this. It is Riser. Oops, sorry, I knocked the camera there, guys. A lot of people I found recently will often try and fit in a Chaos, or they'll fit in something like a Majesty's Fiend, but I feel Riser is a stronger option because it removes a card from a field without destroying it. But the main thing, of course, is it's a wind. That is really important. A lot of the best decks right now are running Super Polys. Super Poly is such a dangerous thing when it comes down to it, and these give you an answer to that. I mean, if you look at Majesty, Majesty is a light. You're looking at Chaos, it's a dark. So they both fall prey to that Super Poly and become material for your opponent. Whereas this one can be popped out, don't have to worry about those polys, and then you can just bounce something and then just swing for some damage. I feel it's the best bet of the 3, to be honest. Yeah, so that's the deck. As always, if you've got any questions, feel free to post them below or message me. I'm happy to discuss anything, and if anyone wants any help and advice, then yeah, go ahead. I'll give you as much as I can. If you give this a thumbs up, I'd appreciate it. And as always, subscribe for more content coming up soon. Thank you very much, guys.